We ready, counselors? Ready, honey? I do. Council will come to order. All rise and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our veterans, servicemen and women, and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. Thank you. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Anderson? Councilor Kamel? Councilor Condon? Councilor Crowe? Councilor Matheson? Councilor Murphy? Councilor O'Malley? Councilor Sika? Councilor Spatafora? Councilor Winslow? Council President Di Maria?
Here. Thank you, Clerk. So I think before we begin tonight, I do want to thank our Clerk's Department for hosting this early voting. We are sharing the room tonight and appreciate the collaboration with our early voting poll workers and our assistant registrar of voters, and it's great to share this beautiful space together. Also, if I could take a minute of your time, I do have something I'd like to say. So, guests are a very important part of our docket. 2 weeks ago, we had several guests come before this body. One was our city solicitor, Kate Fallon. I would like to take a minute to publicly thank her for the extensive amount of time spent reviewing the open meeting law requirements. While at times it seemed like she was being challenged, it is her vast knowledge and that of the entire department that it assists each and every one of us throughout our work. I commend her and thank her as the guidance of the entire solicitor's office has made us all a better council. Thank you for affording me the time to say that. And it is also my goal tonight that, we do keep in mind the Red Sox are on at 8 o'clock, so we're going to move the meeting forward. Thank you. Yep.
Okay,
Our guest.
we have a guest, Paul Hammersley, will speak before the City Council.
Thank you, and we welcome Mr. Hammersley to the podium.
Paul Hammersley, 21 Everett Street, Malden. Basically, I just want to address the council and say thank you to all of you and to the mayor's office for recognizing the opioid epidemic that we're all currently facing in every community in town. And through your efforts and the mayor's efforts, we have put together a position in the health department under Director Chris Webb, and that is the Addiction Recovery Resource Specialist. So I work directly with Mr. Webb, and it has been, I hate to say it's been busy, because we all, that particular topic is a little stressful. It's a little, it's a tough topic, but we have been serving quite a few residents in the city of Malden. I'll give you a few numbers, and then maybe I'll take questions if you want. But currently, right now, we have 5 residents that are in treatment at this present time between Cape Cod and between Weymouth. So my position as the Addiction Recovery Resource Specialist is I'm there for you, I'm there for your constituents, anyone that might be struggling with this disease of addiction, that might need help, assistance, whatever they need, I can get them those resources, or I can get them into treatment, through Chris Webb. So we have currently 5 people that we're very proud of that at this moment. There was 3 more over the weekend. We've also faced a few fatalities. Currently, I've been working with 14 different families. Everything's been documented. We keep the names out of it, but it's very busy. So what I think is the coolest thing in the world is finally someone can walk right into City Hall off the street and receive help for their problems. If you have an opioid addiction or any addiction whatsoever, you can walk right into City Hall and receive assistance in that manner. So kudos to all of you. It's been a blessing to have this position in our city and for all the people we can help. And I would love to take any questions if you have any.
Thank you. First light on is Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam President. Ward 4 is very lucky to have Paul as a resident. I know he grew up in Ward 1, but I want to thank you for all of the great things you've done for our community and for our ward. I know that in previous meetings we've been handed out a pamphlet, and I don't have that pamphlet in front of me today, unfortunately. But is there a phone number that people should know about in case they themselves or their family members would like to get in contact with these services?
Absolutely. The phone number is 781-570-6328. That's my that's my direct work cell phone. And also you can reach me at phammersley@cityofmalden.org. Or you could simply just come by the Board of Health at 110 Pleasant Street and ask for me. And I'm right in 110 Pleasant Street.
Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Winslow?
Yeah, I just really want to thank you for all you do. And I know it's tough for you personally. I mean, this is a very strenuous position. And I really ask you to let us know as a council what you need to make sure that you can keep up your great work and keep at that so all our families can be there, because it's not easy on you as a worker. This is very stressful work. So do let us know what resources you need, and Chris, let us know as well to make sure that Paul can continue to do this outstanding work. Thank you. Great.
Thank you, sir. Just your support for right now is what we really need, and moving forward, we will let you know if there's things, because we will need funding moving forward for different things. Right now, we're feeling our way, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hammes. Councilor Winslow. Councilor Kamel.
So, not a question, just a statement of my support. I've seen you, starting, just doing this on your own, just putting in the time, no thought of anything for yourself except, knowing the pain that you went through, knowing the pain that other families have gone through, and it's just tremendous. It's the kind of thing that's an inspiration that, people like you, it's just what builds a community. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Kamel. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam President. Paul, just one thing I'd like you to touch on, if you could, for the general public. Many times in these discussions, we talk about the individual who has the addiction, who has the disease. And as we both know, that when someone in a family has the disease, it impacts the entire family and friend network. So when you say you're helping, someone's a problem can come in to see you, would that include a mother or a father who is trying to deal with a child or a sibling or whatever? So maybe if you could expand a little bit on the type of service, the rounded type of service that you offer.
That is a fantastic question, and currently I have 3 sets of parents receiving help. So what this means is when somebody might be actively using and they may not be ready for help, and the parents know what's going on. Most parents don't want to throw their own child out. They really don't know what to do. They don't know who to call. I have resources for those parents. I can send them to something called Learn to Cope. There is a variety of resources where I can hook them into with other parents so they can learn what other parents have done and how they've dealt with it. And so, yes, I have plenty of resources for the parents, for any siblings. And there's a variety of resources I can tell you about. I don't think we have time for them all tonight, but there is, just for the person that might be struggling, for the parents, for the family, I strongly suggest people reach out and we can get people on the right track.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Councilor Crowe.
Thank you, Madam President. And I don't want to be redundant with all my other councils, but really with a great deal of gratitude for all the work that you do with this for all our residents, and really for that clarification about that it's not just about the person that has the disease, but it's everybody else that it affects. So I know I've reached out to you a few times when I've had just things that are going on and wasn't sure where to send somebody. So it's been incredibly helpful to have somebody that I can call and help put somebody else on the path, and whether they've come to you or not, at least I know that I can give them the correct information. So, really just grateful to have you in our community and for all the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. I just do want to add one more thing. So currently, just so you all are aware of, I'm working with the Malden Police, I'm working with the Malden Fire Department, and I'm also integrating into the school system. So I'll be at PD Day educating some of the teachers, and they might be bringing me in to answer questions for the kids as they teach the units on addiction. So we're kind of bringing it full circle through the city.
All set, Councilor Crowe? Yes. Thank you. Councilor Condon?
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, Paul, thank you for your years of dedication. I know you know that community, and I know you know what their problems are, but this is very unique because we now offer them a resource that they can walk in the City Hall, which they normally would never do, and know that there's someone here that's going to listen to them, what their problems are, and how they can maybe have a chance of overcoming that addiction. So I think it was great that we were able to do this, and I think it's really going to pay off in the community, because I know that people in recovery you've been associated with for years, and they know people that have problems and need help. So I really think that you're going to be a tremendous asset to what we're trying to do in this community.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Condon. Councilor Spatafora.
Thank you, Madam President. Not to be repetitive, but I know this is more than a job for you or a career path. This is something that you have a lot of passion for. And from personal experience, I know, hearing from the people that I know that reached out to you, it's never a good experience, right? You never wanted to make it, but it was an experience that I think was handled in a very delicate way, and they were happy. So kudos to you on that, and I'm sure you're doing it with all the others. Unfortunately, I would love you to see your job to go away. I'm sure you would too, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. In fact, most people probably don't realize the last 2 years, the life expectancy of an adult male in the United States has actually dropped. And one of the reasons that they're actually trying to pinpoint it is because I think the opioid crisis has affected, the male population between 18 and 25, but it's the second year in a row, and it's staggering. You're losing your young adults at a rapid rate. And this will have profound impact on a lot of things, children, the economy, et cetera. So hopefully we can change that around at a local level and then go further. So kudos to you and your hard work.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilor Spatafora. Councilor Anderson.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. It's hard not to be redundant when you have so many people speaking and it's all really singing from the same hymn book, saying what a great job you are doing, Paul, and what a great effort this is. And for me, without being redundant, I'll say all those things, but in addition we'll say that this is another example of how us Maldonians should be proud of what we do as a city and as a community. Not every city, not every community does this sort of thing. We do it. We should be proud of it. I certainly am, and thank you, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilor Anderson. Councilor Matheson.
Thank you, Chair. Paul, this is such a good role for you. You're so sincere. I know your heart is behind this. And we've all watched this problem evolve. We've all seen what this drug epidemic has done to people. It's cost them their lives, their careers, it's broken up their families. I just think it's so important that we tackle it, and it seems like finally we're getting that action in the local, state, and federal level. And with people like you behind it, I think that that bodes very well for our chances of making a bad situation better and making some lives that are very troubled better. And if you have the opportunity to turn a life around, I can only imagine the wonderful feeling that must give you.
It's amazing.
What if it's not an opioid? What if someone has another dependency problem, a drug dependency?
All of it.
They can come to you?
Alcohol, whatever they're struggling with. I can, if I can't directly help you, I can get you the resources you need to get the help that you need. It does not have to be opioids.
Well, that's a fantastic answer. I'm glad to hear it. I wrote down your number. Thanks again. Keep up the good work. And you've been before us every year as you've been following this problem and trying to be a part of the solution. So we look forward to having you back, anytime you want to come back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilor Matheson. And from the chair, I also want to say thank you, Paul. You're a true leader in our community. You identified the problem and you formed a solution, and you walked the walk, and we're all so proud of you. So we thank you. It's not for you to thank us. We thank you. So.
Well, in closing, this starts at the top. I think someone up here said it. Not every community has this. Right. And so it starts at the top, and that is with the council and the mayor's office.
That's right.
You put this into play.
Yep.
So I do thank you. The city thanks you, and I do want to really thank Chris Webb. He has been amazing to work for, and if you can't get me, you get a hold of Chris, because everything starts at the top. And my daughter's watching, so I have to say hi, Bella. Okay?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Paul.
All right.
Thank you so much. Okay, public comment.
Nobody.
We didn't have anybody sign up. Did we check the sheet? Give us a minute. We're going to check the sheet to see if anyone signed up for public comment. Yeah. Do you need to ask it now? 2 minutes per person.
Okay, we have one. Jennifer Smith, Bryant Street, Cannabis Funds.
Hi, good afternoon. Good evening, actually. I know you guys right now are discussing where the funds should be allocated with the money that the city will be receiving. I ask that the city consider diversifying the money to make sure that you also keep in mind public safety for pedestrians, for bicyclists. This includes throughout the bike path, maybe improving the lighting, improving the crosswalks throughout the city. Some of them are very dangerous, including the one in front of the police department. Constantly, you cannot see that the people are trying to cross until you're past them. As you know, someone was injured last week. And I'm a sibling of someone that was hit by a car 20 years ago at the age of 9 and was brain damaged. So I speak not only because I'm personally touched by this, but I feel that it's an important issue that Malden should consider to do with funding that you will be having. So I just ask that you consider that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next business is approval of the minutes for October 9 of 2018 and October 16 of 2018.
Thank you. On Councillor Condon's motion to approve the minutes, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Next order of business.
Appointments and election. Mayor's reappointment of Debbie Wallace, 15 Watt Street, Malden, as a member of the Cultural Council, and the term to expire October 2021.
Refer to Personnel and Appointments.
Thank you. On Councilor Crow's motion to refer that appointment to Personnel and Appointments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The appointment has been referred.
Mayor's appointment of Kathleen Belgian, 63 Upham Street, Malden, as a builder architect member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, said term to expire March 1, 2019.
Refer to Personnel and Appointments.
Thank you. On Councilor Crow's motion to refer that appointment to Personnel and Appointments, all those in favor? Any opposed? The appointment is referred. I do have a light. I have a light, councilors?
I just had a point of information. What was Deborah Wallace being recommended to be reappointed to? I missed that.
Cultural
What?
Council.
What?
Cultural Council.
Cultural Council. All right, thank you. Great.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. go right ahead.
Order that having complied with all applicable provisions of the law, the city council hereby exempt Joseph Taglieri from the provisions of Massachusetts general law.
We missed something.
Page 2.
Number 9, motions. Yeah, that one. Let me just read that first.
Be it hereby ordered that Chapter 7 of the revised ordinance of 1991 as amended be further amended by adding new section relative to the use of recyclable and reusable bags.
Thank you. Councilor Condon for the paper, Councilor Kamel for the paper.
Thank you, Madam President. So this started as something I started paying attention to during my work with the Energy Efficiency Commission. While it's not an energy item, the folks there are all focused on sustainability, and a few of the members spoke about it. Most notably, one of our newer members, Allison Pradick, who's been there even before she was officially a member. She shared some information with me. Meanwhile, I got in touch with the mayor's office, and it seems like they had already been on a parallel path looking at this, so worked together a bit with them and putting forward a draft ordinance here that I hope to see go to the Rules and Ordinance Committee. You know, there's a multitude of reasons why this is the right thing to do. I think just from a day-to-day impact, we see, you know, bags wrapped in trees in our gutters everywhere. So these things don't break down; they stick around. And if the Madam President, if you don't mind, I have a letter here from the mayor. I'd like to read into the record.
Certainly. Yep.
Kind of outlines a lot of the same items. So City Councilor David Kamel, dear Councilor Kamel, I am pleased to see that you are moving forward with potential passage of an ordinance to limit the consumption of single-use plastic bags. As you know, my interest in the draft proposed was prompted by the following. An ordinance would serve as an important step to protecting our environment. Plastic does not biodegrade and pollutes our land and waterways and harms wildlife. A group of Mystic Valley Regional Charter School students, led by Lana Santos Albuquerque, sent me a letter asking that Malden research the possibility of implementing such an ordinance. Next, an ad hoc group of concerned citizens, led by resident Luann Larson, researched other cities and towns and met with me to discuss the environmental and health benefits of this legislation. And finally, Public Works Director Bob Knox reports that he has seen a proliferation of plastic bags throughout the city, most commonly in our trees, which require time and equipment to address. Presently, 81 Massachusetts cities and towns, including Melrose, Medford, Arlington, Somerville, and Cambridge, have already passed similar ordinances. The full list of communities is available online. It's massgreen.org/plastic-bag-legislation. I look forward to working with you and the City Council Ordinance Committee on this important legislation. Thank you for consideration. So I would move to send this to Rules and Ordinance.
Thank you. On Councilor Kamel, no lights on Councilor Kamel's motion to refer this matter to Rules and Ordinance. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The matter is referred. Thank you, Councilor Kamel.
Order that having complied with all applicable provisions of the law, the City Council hereby exempt Joseph Taglieri from the provisions of Massachusetts General Law 268A, Section 20, for the purposes of performing services as a Malden Teen Enrichment Center Youth Activities Leader.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. So, as many of you know, we've done this in our past. We've done it for most recent Debbie Camerata. We did it for Kelly Colomb. We've done it for Karen Hayes. And this is to exempt Joseph Taglieri from the provisions of Mass General Law 268A in order that we can have this young man be able to work in our Malden Teen Enrichment Center as the Youth Activities Director. So I do have a light on the floor, but I do hope we can accomplish this tonight. Councilor Crowe.
Thank you, Madam President. And this is for Mr. Taglieri to be a special municipal employee. You cannot hold two positions within the city, so he is a paraprofessional in the special needs department for the school department, and he'll be working 17 hours, so it doesn't, change anything for the Teen Enrichment Center. So I hope that we can follow this, and I make a motion that we approve.
Okay, I see no further lights on Councilor Crow's motion to adopt the order. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Anderson? Yes. Councilor Kamel?
Yes.
Councilor Condon? Yes. Councilor Crowe?
Yes.
Councilor Matheson? Yes. Councilor Murphy? Yes. Councilor O'Malley? Yes. Councilor Seeker? Not present. Councilor Spatafora?
Yes.
Councilor Winslow?
Yes.
Council President Di Maria?
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you. So you have to, I think.
Yeah, you're going to introduce.
Okay, I will. Thank you. So right now, the clerk will read into the record the following locations as polling places for the state election to be held on Tuesday, the 6th day of November, 2018, from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. So we're going to read that into the record for those that need to know where they have to vote.
The following are the polling locations. Ward 1, Precinct 1, Fairway School, 150 Cross Street, enter on the Walnut Street side. Ward 1, Precinct 2, Fairway Street, 150 Cross Street, enter on the Walnut Street side. Ward 2, Precinct 1, Community Room, 89 Pearl Street. Ward 2, Precinct 2, Irish American, 177 West Street. Ward 3, Precinct 1, the BB School, K4 Gymnasium, 401 Pleasant Street. Ward 3, Precinct 2, BB School Music Room, 401 Pleasant Street. Ward 4, Precinct 1, Early Learning Center, Homeschool Gymnasium, 257 Mountain Avenue. Ward 4, Precinct 2, Senior Center Auditorium, 7 Washington Street. Ward 5, Salem Wood School, 529 Salem Street. Ward 5, Precinct 2, Forestdale School, 74 Sylvan Street. Ward 6, Precinct 1, Mystic Valley Charter School, Multipurpose Room, 4 Laurel Street. Ward 6, Precinct 2, Community Room, 630 Salem Street. Ward 7, Fairway School, 150 Cross Street. Ward 7-2, Suffolk Manor Community Room, 312 Bryant Street. Ward 8-1, Precinct 1, Linden School, 29 Westcott Street. Ward 8, Precinct 2, Linden School, 29 Westcott Street, all in Malden, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, next we have committee reports. Committee report, Finance Paper 409 of 18, ordered that the sum of $5 million is appropriated to pay additional cost of design, construction, equipment, and furnishing for the new City Hall, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto, and that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow said amount under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 7-1, or pursuant to any other enabling authority and issuing bonds or notes of the city thereof. This amount shall be extended in addition to the amounts previously approved for the project by an order of this council, duly adopted on November 29, 2014, and approved by the mayor on November 26, 2014. Any premiums received upon the sale of any bonds, notes approved by this order, issued Any such premiums applied to the payment of the cost of issuance of such bonds or notes may be applied to the payment of costs approved by this vote in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 20, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount. Further order that the treasurer is authorized to file an application with the Municipal Finance Oversight Board to qualify under Mass General Law, Chapter 44A, any and all of the bonds authorized by this order, and to provide such information and execute such documents as the Municipal Finance Oversight Board may require for these purposes.
Thank you. On Councilor Condon's motion to receive the committee report, all those in favor? Committee report is received. Councilor Condon for the committee.
Thank you, Madam President. First, I'd like to thank Councilor Murphy and Councilor O'Malley, who both serve on the Municipal Building Committee, that unanimously recommended this request for bond. Requesting $5 million, and what this money is going to be spent on, we all knew this was coming because it was going to be our responsibility to finish the inside of our city, our new city hall. They're building the shell, and our part is yet to be done, and this is what this $5 million is for. We need a city hall. Large majority of the councils were at that meeting. Mr. Hogan was there. Mr. Davis. Mr. Ranigan. And Mr. Ranigan were also there to answer our questions on the financing. So this isn't a surprise. This is the money needed. They showed us a rendition of the new city hall. It was quite impressive. It's easily accessible to our residents that we represent. So I would ask the council if they would approve this. It was voted out unanimously by the Finance Committee. I'll open it up to if there's questions on this.
Thank you, Councilor Condon. Councilor Spatafora.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to remind the council from Ward 2 that I'm also a member of that committee. I know sometimes he's forgetful, but I want to remind him that I am on that committee. Being a member of that committee, I can honestly say that Councilor Murphy and Councilor O'Malley have put in a tremendous amount of work in terms of not just looking at the aesthetics of the building, which is very important, but also the durability and the longevity of this building. It's all too often, I think, when we get to this point, money is always a premium. But we felt as a committee, and I hope you do too, that we want to build this building to last more than 5 or 10 years. What I mean by that is we're going to put tile in places where usually they put blue board. It's not only is it more durable, it's washable, it's lasting. We've spent a lot of time on the council chambers. I think it's something we will all be proud of. It is our home court, if you will, and we have an opportunity as a council to build a brand new city hall. It is not extravagant in terms of we're not spending more money than we think, but it is a well-designed, usable workspace, not only for the employees of the city of Malden, but more importantly, the residents of the city of Malden. I would also remind this committee that $5 million is just not the interior. We are buying all new furniture. Because as the committee has been told several times, and I'm sure most of this body is aware, we have moved several times, and some of the equipment has been transferred several times. It is past its shelf life. And I was one who definitely supported bringing in all new equipment. I think anybody who's visited the police station, it recognizes the ability to go in there with a real fresh approach in terms of productivity and having organization at a premium in a building like this. I 100% support this, and I believe Mr. Hogan said the $5 million is probably not what we're going to need, but we are bonding for $5 million, and I think it's imperative that we do it soon. Rates are rising, but also, if we do not bond, we will not have a city hall. It's that simple. We will have an empty shell of a building. So I am proud of my time on that committee. I'm sure you'll hear from the other council members who sit on that committee. I think this $5 million is well worth it, and it's still, from what we're getting in the last couple of years, in terms of a new police station, a new fire station, and probably a new downtown, for the amount of money the city of Malden has gotten from the state and the partnership, this is a steal. You don't have to look too far from our neighbors in Medford when they were looking to put a library and a police station, a fire station. There was talk of them bonding up to like $55–60 million. So I think the mayor's office, Mr. Hogan, the finance team did a great job. I think we're doing what we should be for the residents. I am very happy to support this bond. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Spatafora. Councilor Matheson.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to support this bond. I clearly recognize the need for our new City Hall, and I want to remark that this is one of the best deals that our city has ever engaged in. When we were first looking at other proposals for a City Hall replacement, we were looking in the $50 million range. What we came up with was a replacement of a police headquarters and a City Hall in a very creative way, where we secured $10 million from the state. I was on the police station committee, and that project came in on time and below budget. That's not something you hear government say very often, but it was on time and $2 million below budget. That $2 million got rolled over into this project. I would just like to caution that, I do want to make sure we get a handle on these costs so they don't get out of control. This $5 million comes in the coattails of a $6 million bond for energy efficiency and $5 million for roads. Those numbers actually might be a little higher than that. But that being said, I am excited and enthusiastic for our new City Hall. I do think it's a great solution for this city, and I do think it's one of the most remarkable and best deals we've ever engaged in. I will be supporting this bond, but I do hope that we have a good handle on the cost going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Matheson. Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, I too plan to support this as well. And being a newer member on the council, I really give credit to my more senior councilors on the great work that went into the projects. I did sit in on the Finance Committee subcommittee meeting and heard from Ron Hogan, the project, the finance director on this project. And I think it was very clear that we're actually getting a bigger space than we originally planned for when the initial budget was put together. I think it's almost another 8,000 square feet. So that's one reason why costs are higher. There has been some construction inflation. It's been more expensive to do construction as the economy has picked up. So that's something that's one reason why we need to do this. And as Councilor Spatafora mentioned, the original budget didn't really include much money for furnishings. And then there's a contingency, because you don't want to have to go out and bond and then come back if there is some more cost that we find as we really wrap it up. So I think all these costs, I think the council has done its due diligence to ensure that this is not a frivolous amount. But I mean, I think it will result in a very creatively financed new City Hall, and I will support this measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Winslow. Councilor Kamel.
I too plan to support this bond. As a member of the Energy Efficiency Commission, we asked to be involved recently to take a look at some of the underlying issues of a building that might be hidden from the plain sight. From my own personal background of being an HVAC engineer for for a while now, and there's another HVAC engineer on the commission with me, and in working with Eric Rubin, our facilities director, we actually met with a few of the engineers just yesterday. So they're already well on their way with this design. We looked at what the physical design is. It looks like we've got some great energy efficient systems in there, and we're also working. They're still developing the sequence of operations, which is basically the programming for the controls of how, once you have everything in there, the control system is going to control when things come on and shut off. And we'll be talking about, using our own in-house expertise to make sure it's also programmed well. So this looks like it's going to be a great building, something for us to be proud of, and a really innovative public-private partnership too in the way we're setting this up. So it's fantastic. We should all be proud, and thank the councilors who have really leaned in on this, Councilor Murphy, Councilor O'Malley, and Councilor Spatafora.
Thank you, Councilor Kamel. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam President. As it sounds, although you'd never know until the last vote is taken what's going to happen, so I don't want to jinx this, but I do want to say it's very rewarding to hear the positive comments from my fellow councilors this evening. The committee, which is not just comprised of the 3 councilors here, but a number of other folks, our building commissioner, Ron Hogan, Eric Rubin, the mayor's office, the mayor himself. We have worked very hard. We have worked very diligently. We are all very frugal and fiscally responsible. We are, in addition to looking at the outfitting and the building of this building, we have spent a lot of time looking at workflow, functionality, accessibility, to make sure that this truly is a showcase for our city, but not just a showcase, that it's a building that will work well for everything that we as city employees need to do to support our residents. So I thank you for your support of this. I think you'll all be very proud, as will the residents of the city, in the ultimate building when it's all constructed. We have not, as Councilor Spatafora alluded to, we have not picked high-end products. We have picked sustainable, durable products that will give you a nice feel. So it really, we have, as I said, been very frugal, watched every penny. We will continue to watch every penny and make sure that, fiscally we're responsible for all of the funds that go into this building. And if we can come in $2 million under budget, maybe we'll come in 2.1 million, and so you won't be able to brag anymore, Councilor Matheson. Anyway, but thank you all for your support this evening.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam President. As many of you know, I'm a student of history, and interestingly enough, this will be our 4th City Hall in 4 decades. In terms of the historic, original City Hall that was knocked down by Mayor Kelleher in the 70s, and then there was the urban renewal 1970s beast that ate Pleasant Street. Now we are in our temporary space, the kind of 3rd building 1, 2, and 3 of City Hall. And then we're going to be building what I think we all hope will be our final City Hall. It is going to be a new gateway to our community. It is going to be accessible, as Councilor Murphy said. We've made sure that the City Council chamber will be on the ground floor. You'll be able to see it from Pleasant Street. So if you're interested in participating in your government, which we hope you will be, you can stop on in, see what's going on, express your opinions. I think the residents will be very proud of this beautiful building that we're building. And I just wanted to say that, and I do thank the kind words of my fellow colleagues, and I do look forward to serving in our new City Hall with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor O'Malley. And from the chair, I'll make it quick. It was an amazing team that was brought together for this. All of you were mindful, efficient, and really collaborative. It was a great team from the administration and the department heads that helped, move this forward. The architects, it was just terrific. I poked my head in here and there, and you guys rocked, and I will support this evening. So I don't see any more lights. Okay, Councilor Condon. Oops, hold on. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Before I make the motion to adopt this, I'd just like to say that the City Hall is being built for less than $500 a square foot. In today's construction world, that figure is really unheard of. So the financial team put together, the Municipal Building Committee should be very proud. With that, I would ask that we adopt this order.
Thank you. On Councilor Condon's motion to adopt the order, seconded by Councilor Spatafora. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Anderson? Yes. Councilor Kamel?
Yes.
Councilor Condon?
Yes.
Councilor Crowe? Yes. Councilor Matheson? Yes. Councilor Murphy? Yes. Councilor O'Malley? Yes. Counsel Spatafora? Yes. Counsel Winslow? Yes. Counsel DeMaria?
Yes,
That passes.
that passes. Very good. Thank you, Councilor Condon. Okay, next order of business.
I have several.
Yeah, you want to do them all
Yeah,
together,
yeah,
maybe, or you
sure.
want them separate? All together? Okay.
Okay, committee report, personnel and appointments, paper 417 of 18, order that Kathleen Patcombe of 157 Pleasant Street, number 404, Malden, be appointed as a member of the Disability Commission, term to expire September 20th, 2020. Committee report, personnel and appointments, paper 416-18, order that Melissa Malasama, 64 Essex Street, Apartment 1, Malden, be appointed as a member of the Disability Commission, term to expire September 20, 2020. Committee report, personnel appointments, paper 415 of 18, order that Marilyn Andrews of 83 Cleveland Street, Malden, be appointed as a member of the Disability Commission, term to expire September 20, 2021. Committee report, paper 414-18, order that Maria Louise, 1410 Eastern Avenue, Malden, be appointed as a member of the Disability Commission, term to expire 2021. Committee report, paper 413-18, order that Frank Sienna, 120 Mountain Avenue, Apartment A2, Malden, be appointed as a member of the Disability Commission, term to expire September 20, 2019.
Thank you. On Councilor Crow's motion to receive the committee report, all committee reports, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Committee reports are received. Councilor Crow for the committee.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to make one adjustment. It's actually Nicole Mosalia, not Melissa.
what
So
did
just
we
make sure
say?
that we have her name right. And we met with all of the members of this newly formed committee as a whole. And it was really great to hear all the diverse backgrounds of each of the members in their perspectives on ways that we, as one member mentioned, work to ensure that the people with disabilities are able to live comfortably within our city. Actually, this paper used to be the Disabilities and Human Rights Commission, and Councilor Matheson had submitted a paper to allow for the statute to form a Disabilities Commission, which will improve accessibility throughout the city. At our meeting, Ms. Louise really talked a lot about sort of the statute and what brought us to this position, and she serves on the Human Rights Committee as ex officio, is the word, member, and is our ADA compliance officer, and will serve on the Disabilities Committee as the appointed by the mayor. And I think having her on both will ensure that there's some continuity between these two very different but very important committees. And so we'll make a motion that we approve each of the members.
I'll make a second.
Okay, thank you. We do have a light. Councilor O'Malley, before we take the vote?
I do just want to make sure I give a shout out to Frank from 120 Mountain Ave. He's a Ward 4 resident, very active in our community, and I'm very proud to take this vote tonight, and I look forward to working with him on this particular committee as we work to do what's best for all of Malden residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor O'Malley. On Councilor Crow's motion to confirm all those appointments to our brand-new Disability Commission, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The appointments have been confirmed. Next order of business.
I just have that one, Debbie, that's not on there.
Yep, go ahead. Yeah, hold on a second. Okay. Councilor Anderson. On Councilor Anderson's motion to suspend docket rules to receive the committee report for the License Committee, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion, we have suspended docket rules on Councilor Anderson's motion to receive the committee report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilor Anderson for the committee.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. This was an oversight, I think, that should have been listed on the docket, although we don't have a license, we didn't have a license committee meeting this evening. The actions that we've taken at the license committee in the past should have been reflected on this docket. So it's really just a matter of discharging the papers. And Councilor Kamel had, in particular, a livery license that he was concerned about moving on, and so I'll let him speak on that one.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Kamel.
Yeah, we had a gentleman on High Rock Road. He is seeking to get his license so he can move forward with, this is his only livelihood. And he came before the committee and explained he had kind of a unique situation where he himself doesn't have the parking, but he has a neighbor who provided a signed letter, has extra parking right across the street from him, so that's where he keeps his vehicle at night. It's right around the corner from me, so if there's any issues, I will be literally the first person to know about it. But, so I want to thank.
So it's a livery license. We took a second look at it.
Yeah.
To make sure that the off-street parking was appropriate, although the off-street parking wasn't at the same address as the applicant was. It was the next-door neighbor. We have the documentation that has allowed the person to park there. The license committee voted it to grant that license. It just hasn't shown up here on the docket, and that's why I'm asking that it be discharged so we can act on it this evening.
Great.
Okay, thank you. On Councilor Anderson's,
there's a question.
excuse me, Councilor Matheson.
Yeah, my question is, what if the neighbor were to change his mind? And I'm just wondering if perhaps we should grant this license subject to the contingency that the licensee maintain off-street parking, whether that's at his premises or someone else's. So I guess the question is to the sponsors here, what should happen if the neighbor were to change his mind and say, I don't want you parking here anymore? I don't like you, or I have another car, or I have another person that I want parked here. What happens to this license? Does it continue on? Is it valid even without?
Well, he has to renew it on an annual basis.
Yeah, I would respond that's right. These licenses expire at the end of December.
Okay.
And in January, the applicant will appear before us, and we'll deal with it from year to year.
That's the official.
This isn't the first time that we've had an applicant who has parked his vehicle in a different location, and so it didn't appear then, nor does it appear to me now, that we need to add some other restriction to something that we've done on a routine basis.
Good. Fair enough. Thank you, Councilor Matheson. Councilor O'Malley.
My only question is, since it's not on the docket, what is the paper number that we're discussing? Do we know what that is?
395 of 18.
395, 18. Thank you.
Ideal parking, limousine service, 61 High Rock Road. We talked about it in the committee.
No, I remember. I just wanted to make sure I had it for my records what we're talking about. Thank you.
Say it again.
It was paper 395-18, livery, ideal parking, limousine service, 61 High Rock Road, Malden. We had talked about it on 2 different occasions in the committee. And we have a writing from a neighbor saying that I grant him permission to use the parking.
All set, Councilor O'Malley? Thank you.
Move the question.
Okay, very good. On Councilor Anderson's motion to grant the petition, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The petition is granted. Thank you. Next.
Madam President, I have a matter I'd like to bring up under suspension.
Okay, Councilor Matheson moves for suspension of docket rules. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilor Matheson.
Yep, I was just going to say I move to suspend docket rules for the purpose of referring a paper to the Traffic Mitigation Committee. Traffic has, as you know, it's as bad as it's ever been, and I'd like to have a conversation in the committee level with the engineer and/or the director of Public Works about signal timing of traffic lights in the city. It's innocuous, but I think it's a subject that has kind of gone unnoticed for a while, and I'd like to have that conversation in the Traffic Mitigation Committee. So I respectfully ask that we refer that order that the DPW director and/or engineer appear before the Traffic Mitigation Committee for the purpose of discussing signal timing. That's my motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. On Councilor Matheson's motion to call for a Traffic Mitigation Committee as soon as possible, inviting the director of the DPW as well as the city engineer regarding signalization in the city.
Yep, the director and/or engineer, whoever is competent to speak to that subject.
Okay, all those in favor? Councilor O'Malley?
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to ask the sponsor, because I know that you have been intimately involved in signalization.
Go on. Yes?
I know that recently the Highland Ave proposal has been, I think, released, and I was wondering, do you plan on reviewing that new design in the Traffic Mitigation Committee?
Excellent question. It's certainly, not related with the paper that's before us, but yes, we've brought that up before. The DCR has met with city officials and the state delegation to discuss a anticipated $1 million revamp and fix to the intersection of Highland Ave and Fells Way East. Very, very important topic. We did review their initial drawings. DCR has paid for the survey and design of that project. They did not release those drawings to us. I believe they're being fine-tuned, but we do anticipate receiving those drawings. As soon as they're in our possession, we will bring it up in that committee level, and we will release all those drawings to the public so everyone knows all the good news that's happening here. This is a major achievement for our city. To have a $1 million project to resolve our most dangerous intersection is not something that we get to talk about very often, but this is going to be a reality in calendar year 2019. So yes.
The only reason I ask is because I think that the timing of this intersection with other intersections that are surrounding it is important. And obviously, we know there was a tragic accident on Savin Street. And in the initial review of the designs, my thought was that this was going to be a reduction in the number of lanes, because from Route 1 to East Border Road, it's 1 lane, and then it's only 4 lanes between East Border Road and Savin, and obviously at Savin, when you're merging back together, is where that tragic accident was. And my anticipation was that it was going to be some type of lane reduction to calm the traffic.
But just for your edification, neither of those intersections that you reference is signalized, and this paper is referring to traffic signalization.
No, I understand.
Signal timing.
The signalization of Highland Ave and the Fells Way has impact to other intersections.
Very important intersection.
So I just want to make sure it's on the radar of that particular committee. I mean, I know it's on yours, but just the committee.
I've been dealing with this issue my entire life.
Okay, thank you, Councilor O'Malley. We're going to move the question. All those in favor, everybody know the order. Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so moved. Docket's clear. Personal privilege, anybody? Here we go.
No.
Thank you. Councilor Murphy is first.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, I'm glad it's early enough and hopefully people are still watching. I just wanted to announce that the annual Ward 5 Halloween party is this coming Sunday, October 28th. It starts at 3:30 p.m., will run to 6 p.m. It's being held at the Forestdale School cafeteria. There'll be pizza, soda, DJ, dancing, arts and crafts, hopefully cookie decorating if Chef Murphy starts to get her cookie cutter out. But it's always a fun time, so please come down and join us for a safe trick-or-treating for your children. And the other thing is just really kind of a fun announcement about Malden. As I was looking on Facebook today, I came across something that someone had posted from boston.com. And it said 7 spots that are full-on decorated in Halloween decorations. The first one was 166 Central Street in Somerville. Second one was the Franklin Park Zoo. Third one was the entire Beacon Hill neighborhood. The fourth one was 26 Hillside Ave in Medford. The fifth one was Kate Gould Park in Chatham. And the sixth one was the Stephen Coolidge Place in North Andover. And the seventh one was 26 and 50 Bainbridge Street. So Ward 5 and Bainbridge Street are on the map. And I just want to say a big thank you to Mary Ann Spinney and Evelyn Spinney Anzalone for putting Malden on the Halloween map. So if you haven't had a chance to get down to Bainbridge Street and see their decorated houses, it definitely is a must-to-do during this Halloween season. So we have made the Halloween map in Malden.
Isn't that great?
Just thought that was a big shout-out to Mary Ann Spinney and Evelyn Spinney Anzalone for their hard work in decorating. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Great. Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, that is a good announcement. I know, being near there, I know we've always taken our grandkids over to the Spinneys. It's a pretty over-the-top presentation there. Rivals the one up on the Fellsway in Saugus, so good pointing out. I just want to call the council's attention and the public's attention. This Thursday, 7 o'clock in this room, the Mass DOT is having a hearing on the Exchange Street Improvement Project. This will be a $1.2 million investment of state and federal money to improve Exchange Street. And that's going to have multiple benefits. Councilor O'Malley and I sat in some of the preliminary meetings, and we've made comments that will benefit motorists in terms of signal timing, hopefully speeding up, particularly the intersection of Exchange and Main Street through some creative ways to have pedestrians go through there, creating consistent sidewalks, and also, very importantly, the first separated bicycle lane through the city, which will be an important connection for the bike trail, which is a key asset to the city. So I really encourage my fellow councilors and the public to come out for that, and I know I will be speaking in favor of that project. And I think it's, again, we don't get many opportunities to have investments of state and federal money like this, and I think it's important as a council that we stand together and ask for this money, because it will just go to another community if we don't stand together and ask for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Winslow. Councilor Spatafora.
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to wish, I don't think we're on TV next week, so happy Halloween. I know Councilor Murphy already took the thunder out of everybody's Halloween spirits. So happy Halloween to everybody. Hopefully everybody enjoys the streets and be safe. I also wanted to wish the Red Sox, we're in the World Series. My son is 11. He's seen every team win at least once, and it's getting to be a normal cause for him. So hopefully the Red Sox can pull off a fourth one, I think, in 12 years or 11 years. But more importantly, on a serious matter, Election Day is coming up. But I wanted to mention early voting is up and operational right now, as the President mentioned. I actually voted early today. It was the first time I ever did it. It is seamless. It's easy. So I encourage people to come down as early as tomorrow. They can come here. I think we're open until 5. I got to confirm that. 4. And it goes all the way to November 2nd, Friday, November 2nd. It started today. But for those who, I know, 7 o'clock, it's open. Thank you, Council Matheson. It's open until 7 o'clock on Tuesday. What?
This weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Really? Yeah. Wow. Saturday and Sunday as well. So for those who, Election Day is busy for a lot of people. We know that. There's no excuse now. So I'll just repeat. It's Monday. It started today. Saturday and Sunday it's going to be open. Tuesdays go till 7 o'clock. And it's here at the Senior Center. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Spatafora. Councilor Kamel.
So, again, this is the last televised before Halloween, so just wanted to put a plug in for the night of Halloween. We've got an annual tradition, recent annual tradition, last few years in my ward. I'd love to take responsibility for it, but it is some great citizens of our ward that throw the Trafton Halloween party at the south side of Trafton Park on Granite Street. This year, it's going to be elevated a little bit. We've got a mini block party. We've coordinated with the DPW and the police department to close off the street from just a few houses there from Jacob Street on Granite Street to Evelyn Ave. So it's going to be a fun time. I think it starts around 6 o'clock. So come on down there before you head out for trick-or-treating, and let's see your costume. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Councilor Kamel. Councilor Condon.
Thank you, Madam President. Next Wednesday, Halloween, Ward 2 Associates will be running our annual Halloween party for residents of 350 Charles Street at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And then at 5 o'clock in the evening, we'll be going to 89 Pearl Street. I'll be there and be working with our school committee person, Rob McCarthy. So I hope the residents will all be there. And also, on a personal note, I'd like to wish my son, Paul Jr., a happy birthday today, and my wife a happy anniversary tomorrow. 48 wonderful years, sweetheart.
Ooh. Wow.
Now I have a place to sleep tonight.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Condon. Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam President. You caught me in the middle of a conversation. So yeah, I will just re-echo or restate what Councilor Winslow stated. This Thursday, October 25th, 7 p.m. here at the Senior Center, there will be a public hearing held by MassDOT on what is $1.5 million in state and federal funds going into Exchange Street. This will include lighting improvements and various safety improvements to take a very dangerous situation by the train where there's a ton of people coming off the Orange Line and channeling down Exchange Street. Once this project is complete, as well as the adjacent projects, there will actually be a significant net gain in public parking spaces on Exchange Street. I want to personally thank Senator Lewis for his continued support, the mayor, Deb Burke from the MRA. It really was a group effort to go together and get this funding, and I look forward to seeing this project through to completion. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor O'Malley. Councilor Anderson.
Thank you, Madam President. It's already been mentioned and very eloquently by Councilor Spatafora about the early voting, but I voted. And I think there are a few of us here that have the very proud sticker of saying I voted. And it's wonderful that that this effort of early voting and voting on weekends and making it seamless in order to come out and take care of your civic obligation and responsibility, particularly in light of the efforts that we've seen around the country of voter suppression that's going on, of areas where there seem to have been trying to suppress people from voting, closing down areas where people can easily or normally could easily vote, closing down places where voters would go out on Sunday after church to go voting. And we're just doing just the opposite here in the Commonwealth and here in Malden by opening it up and making it easier. So get out, vote early. It's our obligation, it's our duty to participate in this, and it's being made easily for you here in the city of Malden. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Anderson. And for the second time, Councilor Spatafora.
I appreciate it. I apologize. Yes, I forgot. My son's birthday is the 28th. I won't be able to wish him a happy birthday. I usually do it every year, so we're not on TV next week, so happy birthday to my son Mariano, who's going to be 11 years old. He'll be driving me soon, so happy birthday to Mariano. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Spatafora. And on behalf of the entire council, I personally want to thank each and every one of you. Hard-working, amazing accomplishments so far this year. Great to our finance chair, Councilor Condon, to get our City Hall project up and going. So on Councilor Condon's motion to adjourn, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Council is adjourned.